everybody. Welcome to another episode of Off the Ropes. I got my boy with me right here, LiveZone. You know, my name is Lhska. We're going to get right into it today. We're going to be talking about just what we think, what's going on with wrestling right now, what's been happening, and where it's going to go. And to be honest with you, I really like it. I like what's going on, and I like the way that it's been forming. You want to say anything before we start?
Got a long episode with a lot to talk about. I brought the good belt this time, so let's talk.
Oh, talking about belts, I love the SmackDown belts. So it's like the square. Oh my God, bro. That brings me back to the memories. I see like Edge and Christian, the Hardys, the Dudleys. It just reminds me of that so much, man. Not crazy about the Raw ones though. They're alright, but the SmackDown ones blow them out the park. They're just so cool, you know?
Oh yeah, the SmackDown ones are 10 times better.
But they're cool. They're cooler than the belts before, 100%, in my opinion.
But I do like the Raw ones. I think if you're going to have another tag team title, you gotta base it off of something else than what you already had, because you already based the SmackDown ones off of what you had. So to bring in a new design, I like it.
Yep. I 100% agree with you. I think it's just, I think it's cool to have something refreshing. You know what I mean? But, all I'm gonna start it off with is the Bloodline and Tama Tonga coming into the Bloodline, sneaking in, blooding up Kevin Owens. One thing I want to start off is that was some of the most fake blood I've ever seen. I don't know why they did that. That was like almost brown. It was coming out of his head. But I'm always a fan of blood, so I'm not going crazy about it. But, I like the way they're going. My question is, I would like to see the, obviously it's just happening, so we can't see it. I would like to see who is really calling the shots for Solo. Like, you could tell that he's under somebody's guidance. I don't know if it's The Rock. I don't know if it's Roman Reigns. So that's what I'm interested in, because I don't think that he's forming his own bloodline. You know what I mean? Which is funny, because he could with his own family tree. He literally could, with the amount of family members that are in his tree that have been not relating to The Rock. I just mean like really close siblings to him. He could start his own. I think it's a great thing. I think it's great for the Bloodline right now, and it keeps them. It's one of the only things that's been active in the last 5-10 years, because they can just keep it going.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I will be the first one to say that the Bloodline story is the best story in WWE history. No doubts, no nothing comparing to it. I think the only thing you can really compare is Stone Cold versus The Rock, but even it kind of, for me, I like the Bloodline story better because it's about family. But with that being said, I think that there's a lot more going on than we think. I think Roman's going to end up coming back. I think you're going to see the OG Bloodline go against the new Bloodline, kind of like an NWO Wolfpack type of thing. But at the end of the day, you know, they're all going to come together, and it's all going to be the Bloodline, where at the end of the day, Roman Reigns will be acknowledged as one of, if not the greatest wrestler of all time.
Yeah, man, I agree. And all I'm saying is, the way Cody holds that belt is weird, man.
Doesn't look good on him.
It just looks weird. I was saying the belt looked like it was built onto Roman Reigns. It's like the belt was built for him. Like, that's his belt. You know what I mean? That's why I think it would be cool to see a new champion. But what we're going into next is, do you think that the Judgment Day is going to be separating as well? Because there's a whole lot of tension there, and I just want to ask your opinion on that first.
I do think so. I think that we saw a lot of things on Monday. We saw Damian Priest kind of, get into it a little bit with Jey Uso there. I think him getting super kicked and JD McDonough not taking the super kick, I think that's going to hurt them in the long run. I think that that's going to be something. Another thing that's not being talked about at all is Dominic Mysterio and Liv Morgan looking at each other in that certain type of way, kind of like how he looks at Rhea. I'm liking where they're going with it. There's a lot of storytelling coming through, but I think they want to make Rhea Ripley a face, and I think that they want to keep Dominic Mysterio as a heel, so I think they're going to end up breaking up based off of what I said a few weeks ago, where I thought that they were going to stay together. Rhea Ripley's just too over. Liv Morgan's got that bad guy or heel character going on right now. It makes sense to put Dominic Mysterio with Liv Morgan. But at the end of the day, we shall see what happens.
And also reported that brace that Dominic Mysterio was wearing was actually real. He actually is suffering an injury right now. And while he was on the live circuit in UK, they actually had Ricochet step in for him, and he had to stop doing matches because he was injured so badly. He's trying to save it for Backlash. So Dominic Mysterio, we hope you get recover very fast. Just
Future
wanted to put that out there.
champion.
I love Dominic, man. I know people hate on Dominic a lot. I think what Dominic's doing is awesome, and I know I haven't seen somebody get heat like that in a very long time. And also, what I want to say is, I think Damian Priest has been an amazing champion. His promos have been the aura of being a champion. He's carried it. The kind of being like, you're not good enough mindset to the rest of his teammates and holding them accountable. I think this has been a very big. It's kind of like what Roman Reigns would do. He'd kind of like hold everybody accountable. I think that Damian Priest doesn't need a team behind him right now, so I think that the Judgment Day breaking up is inevitable.
At the end of the day, hey Chico, he's back. You know what I mean? That's what I get a lot from Damian Priest, and I see it a lot, and I think that he can be a future star in the business. He just needs to shake it up somehow, the same way that Scott Hall did.
I think the speaking Spanish is amazing, though. Like them talking to each other and speak. Oh, it's fucking great.
Agree.
And then JD being like, "What are they saying?" I love that. I really like that because you can't tell. JD does not fit in at all, and I think it's great that. Like my opinion is that Backlash is going to be the final loss of Judgment Day, and that's finally when it's really going to see the disbandment, whether it be Damian Priest turning on them there, or they costing him his championship and him needing to win it back, which I could see also happening, because Jey Uso does deserve his chance. If I'm not lying, Jey Uso has put in so much for this. He's done a lot. He does deserve his chance. So I wouldn't be surprised if the WWE did that.
At the end of the day, I think that with Jey Uso, I'm a big Jey Uso fan. Yeet, yes sir. But at the end of the day, I just don't see him being a champion yet.
I agree.
I see the whole bloodline story happening, and Roman Reigns finally acknowledging Jey, and then them helping Jey become a heavy championship at like a WrestleMania or something like that.
Yeah.
I see him winning it at WrestleMania. I just don't see him winning it yet. I could see him. Hell, I could even see him beating Solo Sikoa for the WWE Championship. But at the end of the day, that's where I'm looking at it. Is Jey Uso's going to get his shot after this is all over with? But
And if he does,
he needs to get acknowledged by Roman Reigns.
I think that if Damian Priest does end up winning, it's going to be something like the Judgment Day tries to help him and they almost screw him over, and he's like, all right, that's absolutely enough. You almost cost me my championship, and then that's like where he ends it. But that's the only reason why I can see it, because I do see them breaking up. But I also, something that I loved Ludwig Kaiser turning on Giovanni Vinci, because I think Giovanni Vinci is one of the most mute characters in all of the roster. I can't tell you the last thing that man said. He has like just no disrespect to him in real life, but the character they're building for him is just not enough. He's like their puppet, you know what I mean? It's like him and Gunther and Ludwig do everything, So I just thought it was interesting. And I love the smile Gunther gives at the end. That's like beautiful heel work. Beautiful heel work.
Yeah, I agree. I think Kaiser is a great talent. I think that, Gunther is a great talent, but Vinci, he needs a lot of work, and he got brought up way too fast. I think that he's really at the NXT level, where people like Carmelo Hayes and Trick Williams and all those guys should be getting a chance on the main roster.
I said that to my aunt last night. That's funny. I literally was like, I don't see Ludwig Kaiser as a main roster player. I mean, I just don't. I don't see him as a main roster fighter. He's not the superstar for that, in my opinion. But if we're talking about heel heat, also, I love what Chad Gable's been doing. And I really think that he needs to separate from that group that he has and find a better group like the Creed brothers, like you said, because Otis is awesome. He's a funny character. He's great, but Chad Gable is just so talented, and his heel work just does not, like, Otis as a heel just doesn't make sense because of the mindset and the way of his character. So, like, Chad Gable's worth so much more than that, in my opinion. I think he deserves a better chance.
I said this at the beginning of when we were starting to talk about WrestleMania. I see Chad Gable turning and being with the Creed brothers, or being with, another guy that can really push him. I mean, there's no guys in the Alpha Academy that can really push him right now, and he's really the guy, and that's it. When you had Kurt Angle in the greatest quote unquote tag team of all time with Shelton Benjamin
Loved them.
and Charlie Haas, you had people pushing Kurt Angle to be a better wrestler. And
Mm-hmm.
that's what we need to see out of Chad Gable. We need to see somebody push him the same way Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas push Kurt Angle. And then
If
we'll get the full version of
That's what I'm saying. If you're trying to carbon copy Kurt Angle with Chad Gable, which they're obviously trying to do, you might as well do it with the tag team also, man. Like,
Mhm.
just have it go. Have it, hey, put all the leg lockers together.
Exactly.
Stack them all up together. Only thing I want to talk about was the WWE draft and what you think's going to happen in a draft. One thing I wanted to put out there is I do think we finally get main roster Carmelo Hayes and, Trick Williams. And if not, it's a damn shame. They're fine on NXT, but I love them so much. I need that whole arena chant and whoop that trick. I just need to hear it, man. But I do think that they're talented enough, and I think that Carmelo Hayes is an amazing wrestler, and I think that Trick Williams is an amazing wrestler, and I would love to see Carmelo Hayes have really, really long-standing rivalries with people. I could see him having an amazing rivalry right now, just popping right in and just being able to pick up the mic and start something with somebody right off the bat, because I could see him and Seth Rollins having incredible matches. I think that we need to have more spread within the divas, talent-wise. I think we need to have divas on both sides, because I feel like SmackDown is just filled with so much talent, diva-wise.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much how I'm feeling about the draft. Like, personal-wise, I don't really know who's going where.
Okay. So one thing I will say is Raw just made a deal with Netflix. Obviously, Raw will be going to Netflix after their deal runs out with Peacock. So what's that telling me? That's telling me that they're going to do the same thing with Raw that they did to SmackDown with Fox a few years ago.
Good
All
point.
right. SmackDown is going to have the likes of the Cody Rhodes. They're going to have the likes of, the future star and Braun Breaker, Carmelo Hayes, and they're going to have a few great pieces there. But at the end of the day, I think Raw is going to end up with the Jey Uso. I think Raw is going to end up with the Solo Sikoa. I think Raw is going to end up with the Jimmy Uso, and that's how this bloodline story is going to get more and more interesting. I think Sami Zayn stays on Raw. I think that Logan Paul stays on SmackDown. I
Mm-hmm.
think that the tag team titles stay where they're at. I think that the competitors for each title change though. I
Yep.
think I think Drew McIntyre goes back to SmackDown. I think that you're going to see
I think,
Gunther on SmackDown.
I think
I
Punk
think
might
you're
get moved
going
around.
yeah, I think you're going to see a lot happen. You're going to see a lot of changes, but at the end of the day, one side is going to have the bloodline, one side is going to have
Mm-hmm.
Cody Rhodes because that story is over.
Well, I hope you're right, because just maybe, we'll be able to be there at a SmackDown with the roster filled that much, because they are making their way around here. So really hope we're able to make that. But just like you're saying, with all the talent shifting like that, man, I see it as a great way for them to break up people like the Judgment Day, and then being like, oh, what we're gonna do, like what's gonna happen. And supposedly at Backlash, Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill are supposed to go up against the Kombucha Twins.
I don't
But
like that story. I don't like
no, but what I'm saying is, I think that the Warriors win, and that just starts the beef between Bianca and Jade, because that's a real rivalry. Those are two incredible wrestlers. You could really see something happen right there. There's got to be something that sparks a rivalry, because, like, obviously they're excellence together. They look amazing together. They're a great tag team, but it doesn't make sense. Those are two huge competitors. That's who people want to see going head to head. They need to have their thing. They need to have their match. Something needs to go down between them, whether they get split up draft wise and then you build it later. But Jade needs to go up against better talent. I need to see her against Becky. I need to see her against Rhea. I need to see her against Charlotte Flair. That would be an incredible match. What do you think about that?
I think that so I'm going to say unpopular opinion here. I think that Bianca Belair is very overrated. I don't think that she's everything that everybody puts her out to be. Jade Cargill, on the other hand, I think she is everything that she is meant to be and more. I think that she is a future star. I do agree with you that Jade Cargill needs to start going against better talent such as Bayley, Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair when she comes back.
Should be
You
soon,
know,
I hope.
Yeah. Like she needs to start going against more talent. Even the Liv Morgan would be better than the Warriors that she's going against right now. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but like at the end of the day, what I'm seeing is I want to see Jade Cargill go against Bianca Belair. That
Yep.
is what we should have had this WrestleMania. That should have been the title build up, but Jade Cargill got pushed over too late. But at the end of the day, I think that Jade Cargill is the real deal. And I think Bianca Belair is kind of just
Mm-hmm.
another superstar.
And off topic, I think Sheamus looks great, man. I don't want to hear any of that stuff they're throwing at him, man. Sheamus looks great. He's getting bigger every week, bro. I hate seeing that. People giving him a hard time. I was like, man, he said he came back early. He was supposed to be here on draft night, and they
Yep.
ended up bringing him back early. But talking about draft night also, I think the WWE is missing out if they don't draft CM Punk somewhere, because I feel like that's a free pop that they know that they're gonna want to get, that they deserve, and he doesn't have to do anything. He just has to come out and be like, hey, I'm on this brand. I think that they'd be messing up if they didn't do something like that. Or if somebody like John Cena didn't get drafted somewhere, I'm sure there's gonna be a surprise pop somewhere like that in there. That's one of my favorite things about the draft. So I'll
I don't
see
know
what
about
ends up
John
happening.
Cena. I don't know about John.
No, no, I don't think John was, but that was just my example, because I remember a couple years ago he was surprised when draft pick. People were just like, "Oh, whoa, that's cool,"
I
and he
think you have a better chance of Roman Reigns getting drafted,
coming
and
out.
that sparks the bloodline stuff more than
Hmm.
I think that John Cena would
Oh yeah,
get
no,
drafted.
I don't necessarily think John Cena's coming out. I was just giving an
Yeah,
example of like a big star that would come out.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so I wanted to actually talk about Backlash in France and the card. So we'll start off with the big stuff right now. We got Damian Priest versus Jey Uso. Already heard you said you think do you think Damian Priest is going to come out on top on that one? I'm really a big fan of Priest's championship reign. I could see them giving Jey Uso his flowers for his chance and him losing it back. I could see it. I'm hoping that Damian Priest wins and has his like kind of I'm a champion for a reason moment. Like I ran the Judgment Day for a reason. I won the Money in the Bank for a reason. So many people win the Money in the Bank and then win, boom, gone. Never see him again. Not a champion again. And that like beats me up, because I'm like, yo, that's the Money in the Bank is supposed to be like the big event that you won. You're the big guy who can really make something happen. So I don't like to see that. And
Hasn't been like that since '08,
yep,
'08, '09. That's
Edge
the
and Van
last time.
Dam.
Yep.
Man, I feel you on that one. But then we got the Undisputed Championship. We got Cody Rhodes versus AJ Styles, and I understand why they're doing it, but the writing off of LA Knight just doesn't make any sense to me, because, like, why are you having him win at WrestleMania, be this big guy? To me, it's like you have this long feud with AJ Styles, which makes sense. You win at WrestleMania, the feud goes on a little bit longer. You beat him one more time to contest for the championship, the beef's over. Now it's time for you to find something new. I just think it's weird for them to backtrack like that. And this, LA Knight, I think, deserves like a United States Championship right now. I'm not sure if he's championship ready, but I just thought it was weird to put him in that kind of spot and then just kill his stride like that. But it's a WWE. I 100% understand why they're doing it.
Yeah. So the reason why that I'm looking at it like this is because I don't want to turn Cody Rhodes heel,
Hmm.
right? That's the whole point. That's the whole point of this. They needed somebody that they could put there that would be a heel against Cody Rhodes. That would also be a good fight for Cody Rhodes. I really do think that this was Cody Rhodes pulling the string
Yep.
because of what he did in New Japan and AEW and
He fought his dad, you know.
TNA and everything that he was with AJ with. I really do think that that was the reason, and I think Cody pulled the string here. But at the end of the day, I think when it comes to draft, I think you're going to see a change with LA Knight,
Hmm.
and I think that you're going to see a rivalry between Damian Priest and
Yep.
LA Knight.
I was
I
literally just about
really
to say that.
I really could see it happening. You need to, because with LA Knight, you need to put him in a feud where he is the clear face. That's
Yes.
the only way for it to work. You need a guy that can get heat and heel level that to the point of like a Dominic Mysterio heel level. So why not put it with Damian Priest, the guy that he's with right now? And then after that, it's a clear face going against a clear heel where they
Hmm.
want the face to win. And
Hmm.
that's where I see Damian Priest losing the championship. I don't think it's
Yep.
going to be against a guy like Jey Uso because Jey Uso still has unfinished business. I think it's going to be against a clear face that they want to root for, and that's LA Knight.
The WWE learned their lesson when they did the Roman Reigns versus I'm blanking right now. I don't know why I'm forgetting. Logan Paul in
Yeah,
the pay event, and it was just a boo fest. People were like, "We don't want anybody to win."
yeah,
Yeah, that they learned their lesson for that one. But I 100% agree with you. That's why I thought AJ Styles was. I mean, LA Knight was weird. I would have put somebody else in that position, somebody else who's up and coming and is doing really well. Um,
Kevin Owens been a
I
good one.
was literally just about to say Kevin Owens would have fit that personally, trying to say that he's trying to get back in that picture, or even Randy Orton. Randy Orton could have came up just short one more time, and he could start saying like, "Oh, I'm going to be able to get there. I just got to keep working for it," because he's one of the greatest. I could see somebody like that. I just thought it didn't really make sense for it to be LA Knight, but 100% understand. We got Sami Zayn versus Chad Gable for the Intercontinental Championship, and I think Chad Gable gets his moment here. I never once thought that the Sami Zayn reign was going to be long. I just thought they wanted him to beat Gunther.
Yeah, yeah, I would agree. I would agree with you. It's just that they needed somebody that was capable of beating Gunther from the past title reigns of the Intercontinental title. They said the Miz is already a tag team champion. Let's go with Sammy. I think Sammy won. I think that Chad Gable's going to have his moment. I think somebody's going to come in and help him.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that Chad Gable is going to be your Intercontinental champion after the next pay-per-view.
I 100% agree with you. And then after that, we got the WWE Tag Team Championship match. We got A-Town Down Under versus the Street Profits. And, for some reason, I feel like the WWE loves A-Town Down Under. I don't see them losing right now. I don't see them losing to them. To Street Profits. Street Profits, as much as I love Montel Ford, I just don't see him getting it done. I don't see them winning. Montez is just, I don't think he's ready for a championship, quite frankly. I don't think that team does enough. But I do think that Austin Theory and Grayson Waller have been putting in a lot of work, so I'll give them that. They get great heel work.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you on the heel work outside of things. You know, with Roman Reigns not there, the only really heels on the SmackDown show really is Solo, Logan Paul, and then A-Town Down and all that. So I agree. I think that they get it done. I think that they retain their championships. I don't see Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins getting it done here. In fact, I really do see Logan Paul coming in and Bobby Lashley coming in and everything like that, where you set up a new championship feud between Bobby Lashley and Logan Paul. But at the end of the day, yeah, I don't see the Street Profits beating
Mm-hmm.
them. I can't.
I think Backlash might be where DIY gets it done finally too, and R-Truth and The Miz let him go, because obviously they're a great tag team. They're really liked by the crowd, but that's two baby faces, like you said. It's two people who are over very well. But it looked like they're trying to turn them. You noticed that on Monday?
Yes.
I love the DX thing. I love the way that they have the DX clothing and everything. I love the way they're running with it. I don't really know. I don't really know what I think about them turning. I just don't know how that's going to go. Johnny Gargano does not give heel turn to me vibes. I just don't see it in him. You know, his heel
Yeah.
work was great when he was a indie wrestler. I will say that, but
I'm gonna say that I'm gonna go the opposite way. I do think R-Truth and The Miz retain as well. I think that going into draft, you set up with these two teams, and I think that these two teams are going to be the teams in the draft. I don't know. You see, for me, it's, once it's done once, you can't really do it again 10 times better than that for me. Like, I don't know. I like that. I get the DX reference. I
mm-hmm.
get it and everything like that. But at the end of the day, they're not Shawn Michaels and Triple H.
Yeah,
So, like, if they were as big as HBK and Triple H, I would be like, oh, that makes sense, right? But, even before Triple H was big, Shawn Michaels was still a big star. Neither one of those two fit that star level potential
yep.
right now. So, I mean, I get the DX reference, but at the end of the day, I just don't think I don't think it's helping them. I think that they should go based off of their own thing. I think that they should build their own unit instead of being a DX 2.0. And I think that they should really just be them
Mm-hmm.
and be authentic instead of being what they want you to be.
Yeah. I agree with you. In terms of like topics and stuff, I don't really have anything else for today, but what I did want to talk about was just the bloodline. and we'll talk about the Bloodline. And if you love what's going on with the Bloodline, just make sure you stay tuned, because you never know. Any one of these days, you're gonna hear the hit in your smell, and that's just gonna hit, and then Rock's gonna come walking down that, and people are gonna be like, "What is happening right now?" Any day it's gonna happen. He's waiting. That's my favorite thing about wrestling, man. Is I knew immediately when he was like, "Oh, I'm filming after this. I'm gonna be gone." That's a work. He's not gone. He's part of this storyline. He's on the phone with them. He's talking to them. They're acting like he's gone. He might be filming movies, but he's still involved with what's happening, and he's still playing the long run with the game. So he's gonna pop in, and he's gonna act like he knows everything that's going on. And that's one of my favorite things about wrestling, is he's always listening, and he's always involved with something. I can't wait for when Roman comes back too, because it's going to be interesting, man. It's going to be a great time. It's going to be really cool. Like I said, I don't think Roman contests for his belt right away. I don't think that that's going to be what's on his mind. I think he's going to try to get his bloodline. I'm hoping Survivor Series, man. I'm hoping.
I said this as soon as it happened. I said, listen, you can take the belt away from Roman, but you can't take Roman away from Roman. He is going to be the main attraction no matter where he's at, because he is Roman Reigns. He is the guy in WWE, whether you like it or not. So, I mean, for me, if it's the Bloodline versus Bloodline main eventing, or if it's the Universal Champion main eventing, Roman Reigns is still going to be there, and he is still hearing everything that Solo and Paul Heyman and all them are saying. So, just remember to acknowledge your tribal chief, and, for all the people's champions, just watch out, because Roman knows what he's doing.
Oh, I missed something big too, and new. Becky Lynch, Women's WWE Champion. I wasn't really satisfied with it. I thought Becky was leaving, man. It's boring. I'm kind of sick of Becky and Seth Rollins right now. I think it's time for them to take a little break and come back and get that return pop. I thought it was somebody else's chance. I thought that was the new era. I thought it was like, it's somebody else's era, and Becky comes in and gets her championship run again later on, but I just didn't expect it to start like that. I really thought Liv Morgan was getting her chance. I don't know if they just wanted to throw everybody off with that, but just wasn't really a fan of the ending of that, and that's nothing against Becky Lynch. She's incredible. I just didn't like the ending.
Just at the end of the day, just, let the draft happen, because I'm pretty sure pretty soon it's going to be Tiffy time, so...
I better be Tiffy time. I'm a huge Tiffy fan.
I'm with it. I think Becky versus Tiffy is going to be a great match, and I think that Tiffy time, it's about that damn time.
She's beefing with Becky right now too, though. I mean, with Bailey.
I see that. Yeah. I see that. They're just preparing her. They're getting her ready.
Oh, that move really was so nice that she does. The way she does it, she's like, doot, doot, doot.
She's a bona fide stud as a wrestler. That's what it comes down to.
She does a good job.
But yeah, so I didn't really like the Becky thing. I think it's a transition thing happening, but at the end of the day, something's big is going to happen there.
That's all I got for today, man.
Yeah, that's all I got too. Make sure you go like, subscribe, comment. Not even just that. Have you subscribed to the TCN channel yet? If not, it's not just wrestling. It is also sports history. We got a lot coming to you. We got another channel for the news side and stocks if you want to go check that out. And let's just keep it rolling.
Hey man, if you're watching this, please, if you love wrestling, give us some feedback. Tell us what you want to listen to, what interests you, what you like to hear from us, and what keeps you engaged. It really helps us keep the ball rolling as we're brand new, so any feedback is appreciated.
But with that being said, I'm LiveZone.
I'm Lhska.
Stay tuned.